a celebrity. Get me out of here!
There is so much more to ITV Studios than simply some ITV Studios. It is now Britain's biggest commercial production company, and it seems it's taking over the world. Up there, on the sofas, are some of the people behind it. Looking back at 2015, what have been the big successes?
Oh, heavens. I got a dog. No, I think in programming terms, do you know, you can never ever praise the soaps enough. So both Emmerdale and Corrie have had fantastic years, and the live elements of them have been, the Corrie Week Live was a tremendous success. And similarly, this very set and Good Morning Britain, every day you've got to make these shows, you know what that's like, and they've continued to do really well.
So let's just focus on that international side of the business. What have we bought in the last year and why have we bought it?
The biggest company we bought this year internationally is Talpa, by a long way. Talpa is the Dutch-based company owned by John de Mol, creator of famous shows like Big Brother, and they own The Voice, and so now ITV are owners and makers of The Voice around the world.
Stevie!
The purpose of that was to own more intellectual property, more programme ideas, more formats, and Talpa have a number of these. And because it's by owning these formats that we can take them out around the world and really expand our kind of business genuinely off the back of these programmes.
Well, interestingly, it's the tried and tested formats that are doing really well. It's broadcasters wanting not to take too many risks, and they're looking at the shows that have been successful for a long time here. So one of the formats that we've had a lot of success with is The Chase, and The Chase has just been picked up for a recommission in Australia, which is the latest version of the show.
The toughest test of trivia on television.
The Chase Australia.
And we're also successful in coming up with ideas out of not just the UK office, but the local offices in Scandinavia, in Germany and in France and Australia.
Damit hat Team Deutschland.
One of these, a really good example, is Quiz Duel in Germany, which is performing excellently well, and we're preparing it to roll it out in other territories.
48 Seiten.
We're always looking to strengthen and add some additional creative firepower, particularly in scripted and particularly in entertainment. And so our acquisition strategy has been looking to bolster both those two genres.
Ross Poldark is alive.
A good example of that would be Mammoth, Mammoth Screen, makers of Poldark, who we acquired a few months ago. And in unscripted, in the factual and factual entertainment space, a company called 24, makers of, amongst other things, The Jump and Educating Cardiff.
And we're seeing ITV buy a lot of these independent companies, but they're keeping their identities rather than being called ITV Studios. Why is that?
Our philosophy when we bring talent in, regardless of whether it's a startup or an acquisition, is that we have a lot of trust and belief in the talent themselves, and we want to try and create an environment where they have freedom to come up with the best ideas possible. And so one of the big things that often leads to is that the companies themselves want to have their own identity, their own culture, their own sense that they still have that indie spirit at their heart.
Why are you helping us?
Because I can.
I am never leaving you. That promise is unbreakable.
Now the question you probably won't want to answer. What do you think the big hit that we're all going to be talking about next year will be?
The big hit is always the hardest thing to predict and the most elusive thing to find. But we've got a number of big bets going on next year in a number of countries. Here we've got a big drama, Victoria, based on the early life of Queen Victoria, 10-part series from Mammoth, which will be on ITV. I think we've taken the Saturday night takeaway format into America. It's just finished its first season on NBC and is presented by Neil Patrick Harris, who's a big star in America, and that's gone really well, and we're hopeful that that grows and grows and becomes a sort of a long runner in the States. The trick is to get as many new commissions as you possibly can out there, and then one of them becomes a hit.
We're placing a lot of bets next year, particularly in the entertainment space. There's a brand new dating show with a bit of a twist. There's a new interactive game show that we're piloting at the moment. We have very high hopes for that. And 24, one of the newly acquired companies that we bought this year, have a brilliant new show called This Time Next Year. And those 3 shows are the 3 that I pick out.
So, from this morning to this time next year, that is the ITV Studios story for 2015. But with another 9,000 hours of television to make over the next 365 days, this is a story that's to be continued.